Homeland Security is in chaos, and Congress isn't holding back. Secretary Noem's testimony reveals cuts, cover-ups, and broken promises.
Let's resecure our homeland. I now recognize the ranking member for an opening statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Madam Secretary, to the hearing. Mr. Chairman, before we begin, I want to recognize National Police Week and thank the officers who protect our communities, this capital, and our country honorably and ably. We appreciate their service. As we observe National Police Week, I again call on the Speaker to follow the law and finally hang the plaque honoring those brave officers who defended the United States Capitol from a violent mob on January 6th. Over 140 law enforcement officers were assaulted that day, and honoring their bravery and sacrifice, as promised, is the least Congress can do. Turning to today's hearing, I'm glad Secretary Noem is finally testifying before the committee. After all, it's been 3 months since I sent you a letter asking for her to testify on the Trump administration's dismantling of the Department of Homeland Security and its harmful effects on communities across the country. Secretary Noem, I guess the chairman didn't think systematically dismantling the Department of Homeland Security, firing the federal workers who keep us safe, and violating the Constitution of the United States justified your timely appearance before this committee. But when Donald Trump demanded that Congress hand him money to do more damage to our Homeland Security, Republicans bent over backwards to help him and his billionaire friends at the expense of the American people. Whatever got you here, Secretary Noem, I'm glad you found time among your many photo ops and costume changes to testify about why President Trump is seeking more taxpayer dollars and what you plan to do with that money if you get it. And it is a lot of money. We're talking about $176 billion. That's how much President Trump has demanded that Congress give you to spend next year. Never mind the fact that your department is spending taxpayers' money so fast this year, you're about to be broke. Now you're saying you need $44 billion more, but all you've done is slash, burn, cut, dismantle, and tear apart DHS since you got here. You cut programs at the Federal Emergency Management Agency that help Americans prepare for and recover from disasters. You are unlawfully withholding grant money meant to prevent terrorism and respond to emergencies from local communities across the country. You cut programs at the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Agency, which prevents attacks on power lines, water treatment plants, schools, hospitals, and other critical infrastructure. You cut the number of transportation security officers in our airplanes. You cut the Office of Civil Rights and Civil Liberties, which keeps DHS from digging into Americans' private lives and violating people's constitutional rights. You are making Americans less safe. If you're cutting the things that help keep America safe, why should we give you an extra $44 billion? Is it to deport American citizen children with cancer? Is it to deport more veterans of the United States military? Is it to ignore the Supreme Court's order to facilitate the release of a lawful permanent resident you mistakenly shipped off to a foreign prison? Is it to punish people for exercising their First Amendment right? Is it to disappear more people off our streets with no due process and ship them to a foreign dictator's prison? Is it to fire more military veterans who continue to serve their country by working for DHS? Is it to slash efforts to fight persistent threats from foreign terrorist organizations and domestic terrorists? Is it to dismantle FEMA as hurricane season is about to get underway? Is it to decimate CISA and invite China, Russia, Iran, and other adversaries into our cyber networks? Is it just to be mean, threaten, and deny due process to vulnerable people? These are not hypotheticals. These are things that DHS has already done under your leadership or is trying to do, Secretary Noem. Your policies and actions are so bad that Republican members have been running and hiding from their own constituents, refusing to hold town halls because they know they cannot defend this administration. Republicans are unwilling to defend the Trump administration with the folks back home. So I guess it's down to you to try to do that here today. But you can't defend the indefensible, Secretary Noem. Your department is out of control. On your watch, the department is breaking the law, it's hurting people, and it's making America less safe. The Trump administration is outright lying to the courts and the American people. Just last week, 3 members from New Jersey, all current members or former members of this committee, tried to visit an ICE detention center, which they are permitted to do, as you know, by law, without notice, to conduct oversight after reports of issues at the facility. Instead of following the law, masked ICE personnel stopped and assaulted the members. Then, to make matters worse, instead of launching an investigation into the incident, your department lied to the press about the situation and threatened to arrest members of Congress for doing their job. Absolutely outrageous. It's a sad day for the Department of Homeland Security. Frankly, I've never seen anything like it, and I've served as the lead Democrat on this committee from its start. Even when the Secretary, my Republican colleagues, and I had strong disagreements, we still had productive conversations and did our duty to keep America safe. But that's not the case any longer. My colleagues across the aisle have sold their souls, or at least their spines, to Donald Trump. They try to cover the administration lies and blame Democrats for doing the job our constituents sent us here to do. Republicans have forgotten that Congress is a co-equal branch of government and that the oath we take to the Constitution is the same as the president. Republicans even want to cut Medicaid to fund tax breaks for millionaires. They put their billionaire buddies over the little guys every chance they get. And now you are here, Secretary Noem, with your hand out, looking for more taxpayer money to continue the slash and burn activities of the Department of Homeland Security over the past 100 or so days. Until the Trump administration starts following the law, that's going to be a very, very hard sell. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields. Other members of the committee are reminded that opening statements may be submitted for the record. I'm pleased to have the Secretary of Homeland Security before us today.
The moment finally arrived. Secretary Kristi Noem stepped before Congress. But this wasn't a ceremonial greeting or a chance for a quick soundbite. Lawmakers were ready, and from the first words, the tone was clear. Noem wasn't here to be celebrated, she was here to be held accountable. The hearing centered on a staggering reality. Noem and the Department of Homeland Security have requested $44 billion more in taxpayer funds despite months of dismantling programs critical to American safety. This isn't abstract policy. It's the difference between functioning emergency response systems and a government department struggling to meet its core responsibilities. Take FEMA, for instance. This agency is tasked with helping Americans prepare for, respond to, and recover from disasters, hurricanes, floods, wildfires. Under Noem's leadership, programs meant to protect communities have been cut or slowed, leaving citizens more vulnerable at precisely the moment they may need support the most. Meanwhile, critical cybersecurity programs at CISA, which guard our power grids, water treatment plants, hospitals, and schools from foreign threats, are being stripped down. These cuts invite risk from adversaries like China, Russia, and Iran, countries that actively probe and exploit vulnerabilities in U.S. infrastructure. And it doesn't stop there. Transportation security officers, the people responsible for keeping planes and ports safe, have been reduced. The Office of Civil Rights and Civil Liberties, which ensures that DHS respects Americans' constitutional rights, has been cut back. Oversight has been obstructed so severely that members of Congress attempting to inspect ICE detention centers, something the law explicitly allows, were blocked, threatened, and even assaulted by masked personnel. The department's response was not transparency or accountability, but lies and intimidation. The human stakes are immediate. These are not hypothetical failures. They are affecting real lives. American children with cancer have been deported, lawful residents sent to foreign prisons, and military veterans who continue to serve their country are being fired. These are people who rely on a functional, lawful, and accountable Homeland Security apparatus. Noem's testimony exposed a deeper issue. When leadership prioritizes optics, political loyalty, or the agendas of billionaires over public safety, the very mission of the department is compromised. Republican colleagues have largely stayed silent, leaving Noem to defend decisions that, by many measures, endanger Americans and violate the law. Oversight, accountability, and the principle that government exists to protect its people are being tested, and in many ways, they are failing. Understanding this hearing is crucial because it is not just about dollars or bureaucratic reshuffling. It's about how decisions at the top ripple through communities, infrastructure, and the lives of everyday Americans. Every program cut, every law ignored, every oversight blocked has a tangible effect on safety, security, and constitutional rights. The $44 billion request isn't merely a budget number, it's a choice. It's a choice to rebuild the department responsibly or to continue the slash-and-burn approach that has already left communities, emergency responders, and critical infrastructure exposed. What this hearing teaches us is that democracy doesn't function through passive observation. Accountability doesn't exist if Congress allows silence and compliance to replace oversight. Citizens need to know what's happening, understand the risks, and demand action. The choices made at DHS and how Congress responds affect all of us every single day. Noem's testimony is more than a political spectacle. It is a case study in governance, leadership, and the consequences of dismantling institutions designed to protect the public. The lesson is clear. Our Homeland Security is only as strong as the people and policies that sustain it, and right now, those policies are under severe strain. If you want to see beyond the headlines, understand the stakes, and learn how these decisions affect your community, nation, and personal safety, subscribe to Left Lens. We break down hearings, explain the context, and show the human impact so you can be informed and empowered. Not just watch the news, but truly understand it. Noem's testimony is more than a political spectacle. It is a case study in governance, leadership, and the consequences of dismantling institutions designed to protect the public. The lesson is clear. Our Homeland Security is only as strong as the people and policies that sustain it, and right now, those policies are under severe strain. If you want to see beyond the headlines, understand the stakes, and learn how these decisions affect your community, nation, and personal safety, subscribe to Left Lens. We break down hearings, explain the context, and show the human impact so you can be informed and empowered. Not just watch the news, but truly understand it.